And we sit somewhere over on that side, and I like to see with my friends, just like you're sitting with your friends now. But my mother would, she would use her eyes to correct me in church. So if I was being rude, being naughty, she didn't have to swear to beat me when church was over. She just looked at me real hard, and I'd know to straighten up because I know it was going to come. If I didn't straighten up, it was going to come. So you guys have to learn that when you're in the house of God, my little friend here, you have to sit and you have to put your legs down. When you come into the house of God, you're sitting before the King of Kings. So you have to be looking like you are attentive, and you have to pay attention. Okay? All right. So can we indicate if we have at least one person who is ready to start the presentation? All right, you did. Okay, just a minute. All right, so while they're getting ready, let me just share a little bit about, well, you can probably talk to me about what you do now for AY. Back in my time, AY was a very special time. We did a lot of drama, so we had a lot of opportunities to hone our skills in drama. We had a very, very active Pathfinder club where we would come to club on a Sunday, and we would also have meetings on a Saturday night. And there was a group they called Bigger Youths Group. I was too young to be part of Bigger Youths, but it didn't prevent me from hanging around a little bit to hear what they were doing. And it was special because at least once or twice a year, they would have a major production where you have a full-out drama presentation, which was just something that you look forward to. It was just something that you just really wanted to be a part of. And this church has produced a lot of, Jaylin and Kyrie, please come inside. Okay. So it produced a lot of people. It made us able to do a lot of things. For example, my little friend, will you tell me your name, please? Renicia? Renicia, you have a nice name. So, like Renicia, when I was maybe 10 or so, I remember being asked by Sister Reed to learn poetry because if it was harvest time or rally time, we have to come up here and recite. So you had to memorize everything, and you come and do your bow and you do your recitation, right? When I was about 14, I remember becoming a secretary for the Sabbath school. I believe that. I never thought that that would have prepared me for public speaking. And in my job now, there are lots of opportunities where I have to be before ministers and so on, and I have the confidence to speak because I got my training right here. I recall 2012 or so, we had the International Monetary Fund coming to Jamaica. All right, so okay, just give me 1 minute, please. I'm gonna. Right. So I recall my manager at the time saying to me, on the morning of the dignitaries, so-called appearing, saying to me, oh, you're the one who is going to be meeting and greeting them, and you're the one who is going to be chairing the program. I'm like, huh? Why didn't somebody tell me this before so I could probably skip work? And she said, well, I'm asking you to do it. I said, but you're in charge. Why can't you do it? I said, well, I'm designating you to do it. You know, I had to talk to God because you get the nerves come and so on. But I was able to do it. But I credit that to my beginnings here, where I was able to be exposed to speak to audiences and to gain confidence and composure to be able to do that. So I appreciate this church very much. As it is now, they're screening a number of persons at this time. So while they are preparing, I'm going to take the liberty to just present one song and then I will sit down. Is that okay? Okay, all right. So may I just ask the person in the sound room if you could just check and play that track for me, please. No, I just sent a track. If you will check your email, there's a track there for me. Please. All right, so it is important, as we were saying before, that we take care of our health. And it starts with having proper what? Diet, and part of that diet includes what? Tell me, what was the original diet of man? Anybody know? Yes, yes, my friend? Cabbage, he says cabbage. What is that? A vegetable, isn't it? Yes. So why is it that we eat so much meat? When did that become a thing for human beings? Yes? After the flood, God gave permission for us to do that, right? But with that came some condition, and what was that? Right, so that it would shorten our lives, didn't it? Right, and we recognize that we're getting a lot of diseases, because diseases that come from animals pass on to human beings, and our lives become shortened. So we have to find a better way to exist by going back to the original diet, by having more water and more rest. If you notice, these days there is hardly any distinction between our work life and any other life. It's like everything is rolled in one. We work from home and we do everything else. And there is nothing to say, okay, I stop working at X time and I take up my home duties and then I go to rest at a bed at a certain time. We are on our phones until whenever in the morning. We are on YouTube, on Instagram and Twitter, and we're doing Facebook, and we're doing all of these things. Our lives are just so busy. But God is asking us to come back to Him, to spend more time with Him, so that we can have better lives. And we have been talking about grace from morning, and we know that the ultimate price was paid by God when He sent His Son. And that's what I'm going to sing about. Are you seeing a track that was sent just now via email? God raised the ransom. All right, while he's doing all of that. So, how much water do you think you need to drink per day? Somebody said 8 glasses, but you know that there's another school that says that your water that you drink should be almost equivalent to a percentage of your body mass, which means that 8 glasses alone will not do. Because if you are drinking 8 glasses of water, but you're out in the sun all day, what do you think is going to happen? You become dehydrated, right? So some of us who have lots of headaches, we know that we get headaches because we don't drink as much water. And some of us also get headaches because we don't sleep well, we don't rest well. So that is a challenge for us. So we need to work on that. We need to work on that. Is there any hope? Okay, my doctor is going to save me, and then I will sing for you, all right? Thank you.
All right, good afternoon, Adventist youths. So I was asked by the Erskine family to do a recap on blood sugar and blood pressure. So we're going to do, that's a very wide topic, so I can't exhaust the subject, but we're going to do a tiny recap. All right, can any smart person tell me what is high blood pressure? Okay, go ahead. You know, when you're in class and you have the troublemaker, usually the troublemaker is in the back. This one is in the front. That's okay. I take non-medical answers. I prefer those, actually. You're going to give me an answer too? Go ahead. Oh, okay. Well, your turn. Okay, all right. Okay, so I'm telling you what she said out loud. So when the pressure is above the normal level, and the number that she gave is 120/80. So if you have a 150/102, then you need to see a doctor. Right, so that was her response. Anybody else? No, nobody else don't know what is high blood pressure? Okay, was she right in giving the normal blood pressure reading? What have you heard about the normal blood pressure reading? 110/70. Anybody else? 115/75. Anybody else? Yes, Aunt Ruth? Somebody said something, so I missed that. So it varies according to age, yes, it does. All right, so let's back up to the very beginning. So the medical term is hypertension. The medical term is hypertension, and what most people know is high blood pressure, right? So hyper means elevated or high. Tension, and you know tension has to do with how things pull against or push against something, right? So I like doing it in non-medical ways so you can understand. So tense is normally something light. When you have a tension, is that something soft or gentle? No, it usually has, what word would you say? I don't want to say the word. What word would you say when you think of tension? You think of force. So if I say high force, does it make sense? So hyper is high and tension is force. So high force. So what happens is in your body, the blood is flowing around in an environment that's giving you high force. Make sense? All right. So when we do your blood pressure, when we check it, there are two readings. One at the top and one at the bottom. The top one in medical terms is called a systolic. The bottom one is a diastolic. Now, you don't need to remember those words if you don't have to. However, the top one is when the heart contracts. So the force it does when it has to contract, so you know the heart beats, and it does it in a contracting way. So it will be beating like this. So the time when it contracts, that's the top reading. When it relaxes, that's the bottom reading. So it goes to say that if it contracts at a value that is high force, then you get a high number. If it relaxes at a value that is of high force, then you get a high number. So both numbers tell you two different things about when the heart is taking a beat. Get that? Right. So when it contracts and relaxes, it gives you a reading. So the average number that we use is 120/80. And yes, that varies per age. In the elderly, we'll accommodate a 130/90. So young persons, and then for young athletes, if they go 120/80, that can be abnormal for them because they're that active. So we usually get 110s, 70 in athletes, for example. So the range varies based on your situation, right? So we look for 120/80 or a 129/89 would make you within a normal range. If you're 130/159, you're considered stage 1. Above 159, that's stage 2. So it depends on which criteria you're using, they use different numbers. For the diastolic, the relaxing number, it would be if it's 89 or higher, then that's considered elevated. So what was the last reading that you got? Do you remember? Yes? What was that? 100/70? Right. So your normal will be different from somebody else's. Right. Anybody else? What was the reading that you last got? You don't want to tell me? (172/124). With your definition earlier, you need to see a doctor. You gave me that definition. Did you just pick a number or that was really a reading? So she picked a number. Sometimes. So what it also means if you're getting values like that, so what happens when your pressure goes up and stays consistently up? It means your body, in the state that it's in, is unable to maintain it at normal. So what do you do when it's unable to maintain it at normal? And unfortunately, high blood pressure and diabetes are both lifestyle diseases. So yes, you can have genetic conditions that predisposes you to having high blood pressure. However, most times I will find that in majority of the population, it's high because of lifestyle. What is lifestyle? What you eat, what you drink, what you do for fun, basically how you live. So, if I'm supposed to assume everybody sitting here is Seventh-day Adventist and practicing, then some of the things that you wouldn't practice is smoking and drinking. But those are two of the things that contribute highly to putting up your high blood pressure and sugar. However, we tend to go into Montego Bay, and every time you drive down there, you need to come back up with a bucket of KFC. Or you have to pause by Juicy or Burger King, whichever one of the restaurants tickles your fancy. That's where you stop. However, you will realize, and if they were, I think Popeyes does it, I'm not sure, put the calorie content on it. If you were supposed to check their sodium levels in the meals that they prepare, it will be very high. Just look at when you taste the fries. That alone tells you. Salty. Sodium is in salt. So when you check the fries, and that's why kids love it, because it's tasty. So the lifestyle that you're passing down to your kids as well, determines. So this is how it's genetic, so-called, because we're passing down bad habits to our kids. Each time we bring them to do something in Mobile. So school starting now, when you're going to buy a new shoes, we stop at a fast food place for a meal. And you order fries and fried chicken. That's a very fatty, salty meal. So the restaurant's going to want you to come back, so they'll prepare for you to come back. And it needs to be tasty. So basically, you need to monitor what your lifestyle includes. So obesity is one. Those of us who are overweight, having too much greasy, fatty, salty foods in our diets, we're at risk. I mentioned smoking, alcohol. Not sure how much I should dwell on that, because we're assuming that we don't partake in those activities, but those contribute to it as well. Come back to your own kitchen. Where do your seasonings come from? Maggi, Easy Spice, all of those other brands. Have you checked the labels? Check the sodium level in them. Salt again. So you may not purchase it outside, but you're adding it to your meals as well. So you have to be careful about what it is that you're preparing. Our taste buds have been altered based on how we grew up, based on how we adjust things. So if you are readjusted to not wanting that much salt, you can have tasty meals without that much salt. I've exposed my kids to fries prepared in my kitchen without the salt. It wasn't until we went out one day and that was the only thing they would have, and we bought fries. All of a sudden now, the one that I prepare in the kitchen, not interesting. So I brought them into wanting it that way, and then go and introduce something else, and then all of a sudden my own not tasty anymore. And that's what we've been doing. So if we were supposed to accept where we have gone wrong, we have been introducing stuff to our kids, and then they in turn desire those things. So monitor carefully what you eat, what you drink, and your habits. How much time do you spend in the 7 days for the week doing physical activity? Not enough. I heard that answer. Anybody else? Does anybody does 30 minutes at least 2 or 3 days for the week? Yes? You do? What do you do? Walk. So you do it while you're in the garden. So you walk around the community? Okay. Count the steps too, okay. So she's been creative by using her yard space. Anybody else? Miss Letty is a believer? Up and down the hill? Okay, we have 2 believers. All right. So the thing about it is we really aren't doing as much physical activity. When I was growing up, the yard was allowed to be played in. Then me go into the town where you have to lock the grill. What happened to my kids now? Them sit down. Now Kyrie is very busy running back and forth, but without us allowing our kids to leave devices and go be active, we're going to have a population of kids who have high blood pressure and diabetes way too young. So we need to change the narrative. We need to direct things away from where they are now. When they go to school, it's the same ads on TV now that they start to prepare. When I was in primary school, you usually get rice and peas and what them used to call the chicken again. Why does it slip me? No, them used to chop it up and do something and call it. It wasn't chop up, but it was something similar to that. Now everybody get nuggets and fries. And fat again. So it's like we're introduced, and then there are days when you get yam and banana, but you get nuggets and fries and sausage and something, all of those fatty stuff. So we really need to change up things a bit before our kids become ill sooner. All right, so what are some of the symptoms of high blood pressure? Anybody knows? You're thinking? Headaches? High fever? No. Good try. Feeling dizzy? Anybody else? What is the most common one? Blurry eyesight? No. The most common one? Nothing. Not a thing. Majority of the time, the pressure is high and you don't know. It is called the silent killer. You know why they call it silent killer? Which smart person knows why they call it silent killer? Because it what? You don't have any symptoms? That's the answer I'm looking for. No warning. So they're doing its thing, tiptoeing, silently. It don't make no noise. Until one fine day, you wake up dead. You don't wake up. Yes. You don't wake up. That was for laughs. Right, you don't wake up, or why am I not seeing over there so well anymore? All along, you know, it was slowly going, but because you could still make out the banana tree over there, you never realized. Or there's this numbness in my foot, but it suits me, I'll go and watch it. All of these things keep happening, or a stroke. So some of the complications of high blood pressure include a stroke. So it depends on where the damage, which blood vessel gets damaged. If it happens to the brain, then you get a stroke. If it happens to the heart, you get a heart attack. If it happens to the kidney, then you get kidney disease. If it happens to the foot, you get what Jamaicans call, what do you call it? No, not footache. What Jamaicans call it? No. When I don't know what everybody comes to the doctor and tell me, say them have poor circulation. That sound familiar? Right. Jamaicans have another medical term for everything. Like my head hurt me on my foot. I don't know how it works, but yes. So that's what happens. The damage keeps happening to the blood vessels. Bear in mind, your blood vessels bring the blood around the body. That's how it gets to get the nutrients. That's how it takes the waste away. That's how it brings oxygen, everything that you might need. So you need your blood vessels. And for the males, you won't be able to properly function if the blood vessels don't work in that specific area. It don't have nothing else for it to stand up. I was trying to make it, that's good enough. Trying to make it clean content. Stand up if the blood vessels don't work. So if the blood vessels get damaged to that area, then you're going to have a limp. Give me another word. You just won't stand as well. I don't want to use no words that people will understand. A what? No, that's too big. So it won't stand at attention as well. It's going to be flat. Right? Do the males understand me? And the wives for the males, do you understand me? As long as the kids don't understand, I'm fine. Right. So basically, one of the reasons we do things like these is for you to become aware. The only way you can know where your blood pressure is to get it checked. Get it checked, know where the reading is, but what do you do about it? We don't use one reading. We usually use one reading over a 2 to 3 week period. So I'll usually have a patient today, check it today, and tell you to come back based on how high it is in a week or two to recheck it again. So we don't use one reading. Just in case you cut off the vendor outside and that made you a little bit upset, or you'll find people come to pull their teeth and you're feeling a little nervous and scared. So we say, all right, relax a little and come back and let's recheck it. But what would make you come now, 2 to 3 weeks or a month later, and it's still high? It's persistently elevated, so we know we need to do something about it. The first things we'll suggest is change your lifestyle. Change what you're eating, put in some physical activity, and that not working, then we have to introduce something to help keep it under control. So the medications aren't because we don't like you. It's because your body, based on where you have it now, isn't doing what it's supposed to do because you're not changing what you're doing. Go ahead and change what you're doing. I can take you off the tablets now. Are you not changing it? Then we have to do something to make you have a little bit more functional life with what you have left. So the medications aren't supposed to be the first option. Lifestyle change is the first option. So my advice to you, especially as Christians, let's do some lifestyle change. Water was mentioned just now. Go for water instead of sodas. Sweet drinks, bag juice. Train your brain to want the water, to desire it. Train it. If you ever see him face me, go tell him, say no, water instead of sodas. This is what we've done. So as believers in God and the natural things that he's provided, let's change the narrative. Right? It sounds like I'm done. Yeah. Oh, we never looked at the ones for diabetes. Right. So with diabetes, what is diabetes now? We're going to be almost done. So you're using big words, glucose. Anybody knows what is glucose? Huh? 1 pound when you buy a shop. Exactly. She said 1 pound when you buy a shop. Your sister. See, what me tell you, say Peter Gay. Peter Gay. Can you stand up, please? Yes. Just stand up now. She don't look like anybody's in here too, no? Who she look like too, no? Nobody in here don't look like her? Miss Pam? No. She don't look like Peter Gay? Karim's wife? She act like her, you see? Like, I think she was her long-lost sister. Them behave alike. It's true. So I introduced her to Peter Gay. That was commercial break. Yes. All right, so sugar, diabetes now. Diabetes has to do with sugar. That's the easiest way for you to understand. So what happens now when you eat? What is Sunday dinner tomorrow, Miss Dari? What are you having for Sunday dinner? Sometimes you make porridge and soup. All right. The porridge is breakfast for some people. Tomorrow you make soup. All right. Sister Jackie, what you plan to do for dinner tomorrow? What would you do with the rice and peas? Brown stew or curry chicken? Okay. What about you, Sister Olga? What you fixing tomorrow? Anything? All right, what you fixed last week, Sunday? Yam and pumpkin and 2 green bananas. What you had it with? Chicken? What kind of chicken? How did you prepare the chicken? Stew chicken? All right. So you have 2 green bananas. How much pumpkin? 1 piece of pumpkin. Can you draw it in your hand middle? This size, about what size of pumpkin? So this part. And then you said the yam. How much pieces of yam? 1 piece of yam. And same size. And some vegetables. First person add vegetable to the meal so far. How much vegetable? See, I should have provided the picture so that we can know what serving size is. Right? I'm not hearing you. So you had 4 pieces. And a dozen okra. Okay. And how many mangoes you had in the lunchtime now? Okay, let me pick somebody else. Karim, how much mango you eat this week? Yes, this week alone. Oh, last week then. A dozen in what time frame? One night. Yes, Karim, it's true. A dozen for the week. Who turned on the pot since mango time? Be honest. Sister Kelly, Sam, how much mango you eat that night? A dozen and a half. So 1 dozen, Aunt Merle teach me this in a primary school, 1 dozen is 12. It's still 12, right? And half a dozen is still 6. So 12 plus 6 is how much? 18. All right. Miss Mar, how much mangoes you have? 2 from last month? All right. Who else willing to share? Yes, Sister Kelly. No, I'm happy you share that. So normally, so she said, because the doctor is going to ask how much you eat per day, she eats 2 in the day, but in the night she eats 15. So, and I am happy she shared that because my patients, in the daytime is 2. When I write down 2, me the thing say at the whole 24 hours, they only eat 2. Not realizing, say, them separate the bright part from the dark part. So you eat 2 in the day. So let me ask back Sam, how much you eat in the night? Can you do 18 in the morning? You see it? Yes. I and he's active, I still wouldn't want to be eating. So please don't follow Sam's example. So a lot of the time, I don't see them at Janzal anymore. You're driving past Janzal and you open the car trunk and say, pour the whole bucket. And when you reach up, Karim, probably not even wait till you reach up. Carson, pass what I mango give me. And you get what's up and wash it off quick, and by the time the one is done, you want another one. Ripe bananas. One dozen. That is your mentality? Okay. To be honest with you, there are serving sizes. And especially when the fruit is in season, it's way sweeter. So if you eat a mango in the season versus, I don't know when mango out of season. In Catherine, all them not sweet. Oh, get you. Also, probably in this country, mango is always in season. Let me use melon. When melon is in season, it's way sweeter. Or pineapples. Pine is in season now. Isn't it a whole lot sweeter now? For those who love and will eat pineapple, it's a whole lot sweeter. So the serving size has to be a whole lot less, because the sugar or the glucose content is a lot higher. Miss Will? When it's rainy, it's not very sweet. The other thing I want you to pay attention to, our taste buds have been so off that it doesn't taste as sweet as it is. So it takes a lot more sugar for you to think that it's sweet than what it actually is. So we have trained our taste buds to do that. Because of our habits and lifestyle, it takes more. It takes a dozen mango for Karen to start feel, no man, this too much, versus when you never train it that way. Bear in mind that you're doing 1 dozen mangoes, drinking some water, and go to your bed after having 4 finger banana, 2 pieces of yam, 2 pieces of something early in the afternoon, plus breakfast was whatever it was. So you will be having more than your caloric and sugar needs for the day. And when me ask about who exercise, 2 people. So if there are 40 of us in here, and only 2 away so far, should I do that? If it was allowed. You exercise, Susie? So your exercise, if it's a part of your routine, becomes routine and not exercise. No, routine is different from your exercise. So, especially since you're dressed in your office attire, so you're not going to burn a sweat because you don't want nobody to tell you that you're green in the office. So you're going to walk like this, Susie. Hi, this is you. Exercise. How you would increase your heart rate, it's supposed to be very difficult for you to say hi. So if your heart rate not going so up that people realize that your breathing is changed, then you're not doing enough. So you can't use Vistaprint to office as your workout. Kudos to doing that, because some people don't put that much steps in, but add something else. Either do it faster or for a longer distance. Change it up. Yes, Miss Dari? You brush your yard with a machete? All right, Miss Dari, you win. Who else cut their yard with a machete? Karim? You use a lawnmower? Right. You do it, Sister Jackie. How much are your yard? The garden. No, Miss Darius, your yard. Exactly. Look at Miss Darius stand up, I didn't see you. Miss Darius 70. So, watch out. She want to see. Exactly. I'll bet when me reach 70, me can hardly do that. Because she would have been doing some physical activity all her life. And you hear what she says? She drink for dinner? Soup and some porridge. Something light. Nothing as big as what we would. Yes, Karim? Yes. Okay, so the size of the mango is 1. So I don't really know mangoes very well. But if you're going to be a John belly full, then you would need to do like slices. Or if you have underlying illnesses like diabetes, you do smaller slices, but it has to be not every day. For you now, no chronic illnesses, I'm assuming, a dozen would still be too much. Stringy, so like this. Okay, let's make sure we look how much is that. The thing about it is most of these I'd probably need to get a Jamaican nutritionist because they're going to do it based on, I think I'll get back to you with that because I don't want to tell you wrong, but I would suggest in any one sitting that you don't do more than 2. So especially while it's, no say mango don't go out of season. Especially now when it's in abundance and way sweeter, the amount needs to be less. And if you're going to be doing that, you substitute it for something else. So the mango doesn't go along with your regular dinner. As in, you don't still eat your regular size dinner and then do the amount of mangoes. So you still need to be. So why I brought this up, yes, Marianne? Ota-iti? Oh, so I'm going to get back to the nutritionist to tell you that. Not my area of expertise, so I'll admit I don't know that much. I eat the apple them. You know, there was a time when you could have done that and it never caused no problem, but then we add in all of these other things, so that is why it caused a problem. Because by right, we should be eating our fruits, but then we add all of the other things to it. So my suggestion is in moderation. Yes, Ainsworth? Two to 4 miles every day, and you've been doing this for how long? So let's say quite some time. I don't know how Jamaicans put some time, couple weeks, I don't know how long that be. Quite some time, we're estimating like 2 to 3 months. Years, it's gonna become routine. It's gonna become routine, so suggestion would be to either do it a little bit faster or a longer distance. So, right, so put in some, right, or add weights. And if you don't have weights, fill some water bottle and bring them with you. So be creative with it. Why I talked about what you had in your pot and stuff like that, bear in mind that most of these things, if you go back to when you were in primary school, are carbohydrates. All carbohydrates break down to sugar. So your mango still going to break down to glucose. Your bread, your rice, your flour, pasta, all of these things still have sugar in all of them. The porridge, the soup. My problem with soup is you boil out everything into the water, and then because of how we consume soup, we're going to drink the water that contains all of the starch from it. So even if you're going to do the yam and banana and dumpling and whatever in it and don't eat the food and drink the water, the starch still goes into the water. So yes, and then we add Maggi or cock soup or all of these things to add the flavor to it. So we're still salt and sugar again. All of these things break down to glucose. Your body has this organ called the pancreas, located somewhere around here, so that secretes a hormone called insulin. You've heard of insulin before? So your body produces insulin. This insulin takes the sugar out of the bloodstream. So when you eat the food, the body absorbs the sugar out of the intestines and it goes to the blood. Insulin is supposed to come in, take the sugar out of the bloodstream, bring it to the cells, the brain, the organs that need it. When the pancreas is not secreting enough, or what it secretes don't function enough, the sugar stays in the bloodstream. It circulates and goes to the different organs and causes damage because that's not the environment for it. That is what happens when you have diabetes. So the insulin either not functioning enough or not producing enough because of what we've done to damage the pancreas. So when Karim eat the 15 mangoes, you have to produce enough insulin to take all of that sugar out of the bloodstream and put it where it needs to go. The pancreas overwork. So you had, let's run down a typical Jamaican day. Breakfast was porridge and an egg sandwich. Sugar in the porridge because you sweeten it. Sugar in the bread. Carbs. Lunchtime, rice and peas, fried chicken. Again, some more sugar. Dinner, we do yam, banana. What Miss Will did say, 1 piece of yam, 1 piece of pumpkin, 2, some and stew chicken. Again, a little bit more carbohydrates. And then, if Miss Will was carrying some mango. Right? So each meal had more than the sugar that you needed for the day. Can you imagine what the poor pancreas had to do for just that 24 hours? So we cause it to overwork. Eventually, what it produces is like, if me tell you, say, for the next 7 days, no sleep time, you have to work. At some point, you go pop down. So we are popping down the pancreas. So it don't produce as much, or what it produces don't function as well. So the sugar just swim by and go around to the organs, then cause the damage to the organs. And like we mentioned earlier, if it goes to the brain, then you get the stroke. If it goes to the foot, that's why people have to cut off the foot. If it goes to the eye, you go blind. And males, if it goes to that organ, then you can't stand up. So both diseases affect the blood. When the blood gets affected, anywhere in the body can get affected. My advice to you is, let's get physical. Let's watch our serving sizes, our water intake. Those are a must. So adjust your timetable to include some of these things in there. If, for example, you live somewhere where it's not so possible, do jumping jacks in front of the TV. Push where the night table, center table, and do some things in your living room. Yes, Karim? All right, so for now, not being diabetic, your pancreas is already taking out the sugar out of the system, right? What you want is to not give it as much work to do so it then becomes dysfunctional, meaning it don't work as well. So doing the suggestions that I made, the exercise also burns the sugar. So that is, after you do the 15 mangoes, run around the block. That's a good way of getting to burn up, because the muscles need the glucose. So it helps to burn it up as well. So exercise also helps to eliminate some of it. So after Sam went to the farm, and that's in they say, then you come back and eat the mangoes. So he put back some of what he burnt out. I still don't think you need so much though, Sam. It's too much. So in moderation, and I'm going to get the nutritionist to give me how the serving sizes are, so you have proper ideas of how much mangoes, how much tomatoes, plantains, and we love fried plantain. Oh gosh, how we forget that? For breakfast, fried plantain beside the bowl of porridge, a slice of bread. So we have been doing things off for a while. Thank you for your cooperation. If there are no more questions or concerns, we turn back over. Why, when you have high blood pressure, it is said that it damages your brain? As in the patient says that, or the doctor told the patient? Well, without seeing a doctor and having that confirmed, people will say all kind of things. I don't know if or is it that I'm not understanding correctly? Yeah. Also, the damage is like after you have a stroke or something. So when it affects the brain, that's how you get a stroke. So the damage to the blood vessel in the brain blocks oxygen from going to that area. So it would damage that area. So whichever side it is that gets affected shows the effect of it being affected. Was that what you were asking? Oh, because I want to make sure someone understand. Okay. So yes, so wherever the organ is that gets affected, that's what shows it. Thank you for listening again, and let's make a change.
Can we give a rousing amen to the doctor for sharing all of that with us? And thank you so much for sharing about your meals so she could do a little bit of diagnosis there. We really appreciate it. I'm not sure if the team is ready, but if they're not, we're going to just, because we have a quiz that we want to do. They're coming? Right. So there's a quiz that we want to do, so we hope you've been listening to the doctor, and hopefully you'll be able to win a few gifts. All right? Ready, steady, go? All right, while they're coming, can we fill the slot? You can go ahead and play that track for me. And we'll see if we still have voice to sing. Hostage by sin and doomed to a terrible fate. But then see a loving Father, pain and mercy in his eyes, giving one son so that others might be saved. God raised the ransom, Jesus paid it on the cross, with the purest of lambs was slain for the lost, blood shed for a sin debt, only Jesus could pay. God raised the ransom on crucifixion day. Savior had come, accepted by some. Oh, but others, they just could not believe. You see, they had thought Messiah would build a kingdom on this earth, but he came to suffer and to serve. The Lord tasted death, and then he grew in one new breath, and life blossomed, and it filled up the tomb. Oh, death had lost its sting, it was conquered by the King. When he rose, glory broke the seal of doom. God raised the ransom, and Jesus walked out of the grave where hope had been buried. He was left to decay. With sunrise in his eyes, watch the stone roll away. God raised the ransom on Resurrection Day. Oh, God raised the ransom, and my Jesus walked out of the grave where hope had been buried. He was left to decay. Sunrise in his eyes, watch the stone roll away. And God raised the ransom. He just walked out of the grave. God raised the ransom on Resurrection Day. God, he just raised the ransom. God raised the ransom on Resurrection Day.
Was that beautiful or what? Amen. God raised the ransom on Resurrection Day. Dying was okay, but if he never got up from the grave, it would have been useless, yes? Yes, God is awesome. Well, we really had a fine turnout this evening. I was pleasantly surprised by the number of people who had their blood pressure and blood sugars checked. And I heard the doctor already giving you advice on what to do and what not to do. So you all know what you need to do, right? But oftentimes we know what we don't do. So that's what we have to do if we want to stay healthy and live long lives. Do our part and leave the rest up to the Lord. All right, we have a few giveaways. And then after we close out here, Brother Roy will be on schedule. Brother Roy, you ready? For right after we get out, the kids can go and get their ice cream treat, okay? He'll be outside. So, all right. So, is Mikey here? Mikey, come here. I want to give you something for your wife. I sent her home, so I want to give you this to give her. Tell her to use it. Okay? Make sure she uses it. Commands her to use it. Okay? It's that important. That's all I'm going to say. All right? All right. Thank you. All right. Who wants a gift?
Put your hand up. Put your hand up.
Somebody who has high blood sugar. Come on, Mama. Make sure you check it and keep that sugar down, okay? All right, one more of this, I think. Who else wants a blood sugar device?
Someone in the back.
Someone in the back? Miss Will, is that you? You have high blood sugar? Who has high blood sugar? Let me look at my list, see if you're telling the truth. Which one? Which one? In the middle over here? Is this long enough? What was your blood sugar when you checked it? You? 94, you're not diabetic. I want to give this to somebody who is diabetic, who really needs to follow up on their blood sugar. There's somebody who had another high number. Roxanne, put your hand down. Let me see. Let me look at the number. Oh, somebody did what? 197. Who had a blood sugar of 197? I wrote it down. Let me see. Look on this base if you see 197. Right down here. Zarisha.
Zarisha.
This is normal.
Is there a Zarisha here?
You don't have to take it if you don't feel the need to use it, but your sugar was high. But you're okay with that? Okay, got one more. Who wants a blood sugar machine? Okay, come on. That's normal. 102 is normal. 70 to 110 is normal blood sugar. I'm going to see here.
No, 103.
This one. Duane.
199. Is there Everton Duhaney?
Everton? You have a blood pressure machine already or no? Okay. All right. We already had that conversation, so use it, okay? All right, very well. Okay. What else I have? Some glasses. Yes. Well, if we had 100, we would give it to everybody. So we're gonna have to just, yeah, we give the ones that really desperately need, like right now. Right. Yeah. All right. Let me see. I got one more blood sugar machine. What lady? Huh?
Miss Will?
Miss Will, come on. right, Miss Billy. I think, what else I have? Who is the, let me see. I have a notebook, journal, notebook. You want it? Come. She's smart.
She's
unsure
smart.
what-
She
what
put
the
her hand
question
up long
gonna be,
time.
but the hand is up already. There you go. There you go. Keys to happiness. Who wants to be happy? Sadie. All right. Anybody who wants to read the Bible and you have bad vision, but these are not tested glasses, they're just magnifying. You would like one? Yes. I think I have 6. 6 people only 6. Okay. I know. Will look
We're
nice
having
on
a
you.
stampede here.
This is shades. There. Reading. Okay. All right, those are gonna have one shades. Who wanna look cute? You wanna look cute? There you go. Who wants to look cute? There you go. That's it. That's all that's left in my goodie bag. My sister will take it from here. Ooh, you do look cute. Put it on again.
You're all that in a bag of chips,
All
yes.
right. All righty. Thank you, guys. It was great sharing with you.
Can we
She'll
give them a
close
hand?
out.
Awesome. And we're so thankful that we were able to share in this fashion today. We want to be thankful to God. It's now way past sunset. I want to thank Dr. Jody. Jody, you have to forgive me. So thank you, Dr. Jody, for saving us this afternoon and doing the recap. And thanks to the team. Number of them are nurses, male nurses, nurses in training as well. And we want to thank them for their service today. Now, I know that it's not very popular, but I'm glad these young men were here. 2 of them are my nephews, and they are nurses. One has completed his training years, now one is working, and the other one is almost finished with his degree. Many of us don't have any interest as a male to become a nurse, but did you know it's a big business, and you can make lots of money as a male nurse? So we want to encourage even the young ones coming up that there's nothing wrong in being a male nurse. It is something that is supported, it is something that is encouraged, it is something that benefits our population entirely. So we want to encourage all of you. So we have had a long and productive day. I want to especially thank, my sister always has a goodie bag, so she have more goodies.
If anybody wants a pen on your way home,
On your way home, we're not going to do it here. We're not going to do it here, guys. We're not going to do it here. We're going to close the Sabbath in a proper way. We don't want a stampede, okay? So I'll be standing at the door. When we're going out, you can have a pen, all right? So we're going to close out the Sabbath. We want to thank the church. We want to thank the pastor, Pastor Reed. We want to thank your first elder, Elder Gray, and the members of the church board and the church at large for allowing us this opportunity to worship with you today. We want to thank all those who participated in the program from morning until now. And want to thank all of you who went home, came back, those who had lunch with us, and all of that, we want to say a very, very big thank you for allowing us this opportunity to worship in your sanctuary. And we're looking around and we're seeing a few things that we want to help with as well. So next time we come back, we'll be doing something here for the sanctuary. So we're happy that we're here today. So I want to invite us all. At this time, we're going to stand. We're going to sing Days Dying in the West. That's a song that comes to mind. I haven't sung it in a long while. We're going to close out with Days Dying in the West, and then afterwards we are going to have a treat outside for our children. Each one of you will be able to get a cone of ice cream. So we're going to do that. So let's do that. Day is dying in the west, earth is touching earth with rest. Wait and worship while the night sets the evening lamps alight to all the sky. Holy, 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 Lord God of hosts, heaven and earth are full of thee, heaven and earth are praising thee, O Lord most high. May I invite our first elder to say the benediction for us, please? And any other words?
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. We just want to say a big thank you to the Erskine's family for being here with us today and for blessing our hearts with that which has been done. I know that our hearts have been richly blessed, and the doors of Vaughansfield will always be open for you to return at whatever time you see is fit. We do appreciate your presence again, and with all those who have come with you to be here and to support the program. At this time, I invite us to bow our heads as we seek the Lord in prayer. Loving Lord, we truly thank you for your many blessings towards us throughout today. We thank you, Lord, that in spite of it all, you still remain good towards us. We pray and ask now that as we are about to sever one from another, O Lord, that you will continue to be with us, that you will create in us a heart like thine, so that as we live each day, you will be seen by those who will behold us. I pray, O Lord, that you will do for us far more than our humble hearts can ask of thee. I pray, O Lord, that you will continue to be with Sister Erskine, that you will continue to bless her family, bless her support team, and may it be, O Lord, that we will live a life here that when you shall come, we will all be a part of your eternal kingdom. These mercies we do ask in Jesus' precious name. Amen. Let the words of our mouth and the meditation of our hearts be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. Good night, everyone.